Hi, Dina. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm just really excited to hear more about your story and journey. So, first off, could you tell us about your nonprofit journey? What led you into this work and what keeps you inspired today?
What led me into the journey of nonprofit was really just getting together to help the community. I grew up in Tampa, the Tampa Bay area since a small child, and I have a heart for, just giving back. It's something that my grandmother and my mother instilled in me. And it kind of just happened, right? A lot of the times, we find areas that we want to support, but we really don't know how to put it all together. And so I had a team around me, and I said, okay, I saw that there was a need specifically for back to school supplies. It literally started from wanting to meet the need for children who were underserved that needed school supplies. And since then, years ago, it has evolved into, what we see today with what we're doing in the community.
That's awesome. And what are you doing in the community now? Where is that taking you?
So it has led me to so many different programs. I want to help everyone all the time. And, sometimes I talk to my team and they're like, okay, we got to do one thing at a time. Let's pace ourselves. So currently with the Billionaire Learning Academy and Knowledge Center, we actually have a program called Learn More, Live More. And what that program does, it empowers all of our participants, whether you are a single individual, a family unit, single mom, single dad, whatever your walk of life is. And we want to help meet you where you are and take you to that next level. And so it's led to partnerships with Google. It's led to our program, which launched last year called Nourished by Black. We also have a program that's called 33rd, where individuals can come in and get brand new clothes and shop as if they are at the mall. And that's just another sense of empowerment, that we're able to extend to those that may not have that ability. And so, yeah, it's landed us to this year is our fifth year doing our back to school event. And every year it continues to get bigger and bigger. And so I'm just really proud of where we've come and where we are today.
That's amazing. You should be proud. It sounds like you have so many great opportunities for folks and ways to really engage and give back. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So, what's one part of the work that lights you up the most? Is there like a story or project or impact moment that reminds you why you're doing what you do?
That moment, I've been doing the work, right, with my team, and I don't want to take credit, right? It's a collective effort. It's not just me, it's the volunteers, it's friends, family, everyone, kind of the community pitching in to make this happen. But there was one instance that happened last year where there was a young lady, and she was there with her son, and she had been to our events year after year. And I was actually at a different event. And she said, I seen that you guys, are having your back to school event this year and it's sold out. And I really want to attend. Is there anything you can do? Well, long story short, you guys know I could not say no. So obviously she was able to attend. And at the end of the back to school event last year, she took about 5 or 6 minutes and she said, I want to let you know what you're doing in the community and how it impacts us. A lot of people think that like school supplies is something that's just simple or it's not that big of a deal, but it actually gives a sense of pride to my son where, if I didn't have the money, I don't have the money to buy the clothes that he needs for uniform or to be able to support him in the way that Black is supporting. And, to have someone take a moment and kind of express to you the impact that you're having. I know sometimes as nonprofit owners, founders, we get kind of caught up in the hustle and bustle, but to see, a young man, right, and a mother who wants to provide for her child and to look to you as the ability to do so, it was absolutely so heartwarming. It brought tears to my eyes and it motivates me to continue to do what we're doing even today.
It's so refreshing when you hear your community come back, like share those stories. And I know it's hard for a lot of, like you said, a lot of times we're in the weeds and it's really hard
Mhm.
to like hear or not hear, but like get the opportunity to speak to people that you're
Mhm.
serving or supporting. And it really does make a difference. Like it's one of the big things that I suggest when people are feeling a little burnt out or, tired from the lift
Mhm.
of this work is talk to people.
Yeah.
You'll get refreshed often, and it reminds you why you're doing what you're doing. I love that
Yeah,
story.
and that interaction that I had, we've been doing it for 4 years, and to see families come in and shop, and they're asking like, you mean to tell me this is free? Like I don't have to pay for this? Like, and I'm like, no, take what you need, and to see their eyes light up and to feel empowered, that I mean, it makes all of the days that you're up late at night, or you're in the weeds like you were saying, it just makes it all worth it. So I'm so encouraged and inspired by that.
That's awesome. So, what is one challenge with all of those things happening? What's one challenge or shift you're currently navigating in your organization or in the sector? And how are you approaching it, or what kind of support would help?
This is a good question. I think in some of the conversations I've had with other nonprofit founders, some of what we're experiencing is really the same. The areas that we're most needing help in is boots on the ground, right? Getting people that could be there to help us volunteer, but not just for the events. A lot of the times, we see the support come out for the events, but it's the day to day, the operations, the making the calls, sending the emails, doing the marketing, where the support is needed on the operational side for us. And then most notably, with any nonprofit, it's going to be fundraising, right? And being able to continue to have that donor support, the community support. And so those would be the two pain points I would say that hit home, and really just in some of the conversation is more common in the nonprofit space more so than other industries.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I think with I have an events background, so the events and the
Yes.
volunteers in that space is a natural connection point, obviously. But you're
Mhm.
100% right. The importance of like bringing volunteers into the space, the operations, helping do the stewardship, the thank yous, like all of those things
Mhm.
take time and effort. And I think when you bring your volunteers into your community and into the interworkings of your organization too, you're just actually bringing more people closer. And I think they can
Mhm.
story. They can be champions of the work. Everyone is like really when you have volunteers, when you have people participating in events, they're all interested in what you do. So I think it's so important to continue bringing them closer because they continue talking about your efforts. So I
Mhm.
love that you're bringing or looking to have more volunteer opportunities specifically in the org in the day to day grind because that is what many of us need support with.
Yeah, and a lot of the times I think, and just in the experience where I've had people to help, it's empowering to them to see like, I remember when we were just planning it and it was like just an idea, and to, watch it go from just like a board meeting to now like hundreds of families are being able to be supported by the efforts. I think, it's a blessing to see, and some of the volunteers have voiced that it's amazing to see how it just starts from like just an idea to now something that is fruitful in the community.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it is that exactly. That was always what made me the most excited in the event space was like seeing this idea come to life.
Mhm.
Um, I totally feel what you're saying there. That's awesome. So, just into the nonprofit space or the nonprofit hive space, how have conversations or connections through the nonprofit hive shape your work or perspective? This could be like a person you met, an idea that stuck, or simply the feeling of not doing it alone.
Can I just say all of the above? Do I have to pick one?
Yeah, whatever.
The nonprofit hive really has opened up my perspective as a founder. A lot of the times, you go online and you see all these, mentorship and things like that. But when it comes to the nonprofit sector, it's difficult to, find that community. And so the Nonprofit Hive really has given us that opportunity to connect in areas that we never would have thought. I had a conversation with someone about, I would say about a year ago, and we were just talking about fundraising. And, I was telling her a little bit about what we were doing. And she's like, hey, have you thought about calling this company and just sharing it this way and like giving tips? I think a lot of the times we can be in our own silo, and as much as it's great to have our team, it's always good to have a fresh perspective and someone that can, they may have gone through some things that they could give you some advice on. So being able to have, number one, ideas that you might have never thought of, and then secondly, to meet people that are not just in your area. I think that also is it is so valuable, because it now allows you to, number one, feel like you're not by yourself, right? Because sometimes we could feel as isolated to just a state or a city, but just to see across the board that, hey, we're all out here, and we're if we come together and we share what we know, the little tidbit that can help someone else. And that's what Nonprofit Hive has done for us. It's really opened up that perspective and those connections.
I love that. I think there's something about like that peer learning component that you're touching on, where like it's not a competition, and people are
Yeah.
willing to like just give the perspectives. We've all been in this space, and having somebody to just bounce ideas off of, a real person,
Hmm.
is so refreshing.
Hmm.
And like you can feel like you have someone almost in your corner, or someone who gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
and
that.
there is not a dollar amount that equates to that, because being able to like have a sounding board of someone, maybe they're more experienced, maybe they're starting just like you are, and to have that sounding board, I'm so grateful that I found the Nonprofit Hive, like, honestly.
Yay! We're grateful to have you here. That's awesome. So, the last question, what's one insight, resource, or mindset that's helped you recently and might help others in the community too? So, something others could learn from or be inspired
So what's one thing? I think to get out, meaning get out, network, talk to people, get out of your comfort zone. That is the biggest thing for me. I sometimes can get so caught up in the operations that I forget the importance of outreach and networking. Even just today, having a phone call, you never know where that phone call or that conversation could lead. And so just, get out there, explain what you do, share what you do. Don't let your fear kind of control your ability to share the great things that you're doing and the great ideas. And you'd be surprised how welcoming people will be, if you just get out of your own way and go out there and share it.
by. I love that. I think there's something a friend always said, like, if you feel scared or nervous, it's usually the direction you need to go, because
Mm,
like you are getting out of your comfort zone. There's something that like if like a new project or an opportunity makes you nervous and gives you that butterfly feeling, like
mhm.
that's usually the indication that's what you should be doing. And I just think there's so many times that it's so easy to say, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, or like becoming too comfortable in your own community, not communities, but in your own spaces where like we almost forget how to do the networking piece. We forget how
Yeah.
to engage with others. And when you put it out into the universe, it's always amazing what you get back.
Yeah. So, like, if I were to give anyone advice, like watching this, it would be just ask. just ask. You know, if you don't understand something, you need help, you're trying to piece it together, just ask. Ask someone until you get your answer. And you'd be surprised the way that people would love to help. People want to pour into something that is of purpose. But if we don't ask, we'll never get what we need. So yeah, I just yeah, that's the paradigm shift that's happened for me. That's definitely opened up some doors.
It's great. It's a great one. So I guess I do have one more question. The last one is, if people want to find information about you, volunteer, get more engaged with your organization, where can they find you?
Yes, so we are on Facebook, on TikTok, and all the places, right? But most notably, go to our website, which is www.blakc.org. Yes, it is. It's pronounced black. It is spelled incorrectly on purpose. So hopefully you can write that down. And we would love to have anyone who has any spare time. I mean, interns. We do high school volunteers for Bright Future Scholarship. I mean, wherever you feel you have a gift that you are willing to share with us and with our team, whether it's 1 hour, 5 hours, or more, we certainly will welcome it. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And thank you. It was lovely connecting with you today, Dina.
Same here. I am so grateful for all that you guys do. Keep up the great work.
It is my pleasure. Bye.
Bye.